All right, today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the books my 6th grader is reading. Hi, my name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. I have graduated too. This is our 16th year homeschooling. This school year I have my 6th grader and an 11th grader. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the books my 6th grader is reading, and then I'm going to add on a few extra. We are a Christian family. We do have a biblical worldview, and we do tend to lean a little bit towards the Charlotte Mason style, and we definitely are an interest-led family with my boys, always gone the direction of spending a lot of time on things that they were interested in. And one of his things is reading. He does enjoy reading. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share all these books with you, his comments, his stars that he gave the books, and some of my thoughts on some of them. All right, let's get started. You might see a theme of books that he does like. And remember, I just feel like every kid is different. And I must admit that a majority of my boys probably would have liked these books. My 11th grader now is not a big reader, but he does like audio, so he may have enjoyed them. And some of them he probably would have read or enjoyed. All right, here we go. The first one is DDay, the World War II invasion that changed history. Now, he said he gave this a 4. It is sort of different stories of witnesses there, and you know, as they're approaching the shore, different scenes from different beaches. So it's more, that's how the book is sort of. So you're really reading different stories about the different things that were going on. There are pictures also in the back. So it's all based on true events. So, and that is really what he does enjoy. All right, here is a book that I had to sort of talk him into reading, which is Canyon Winter. And it was probably not his favorite, but that does not mean it's not a good book. It was just out of his comfort zone of what he wanted to read. Now, he did say 3 stars. This is about a young boy. He has to, I'm reading the back because I took notes from when he told me what the books were about. I could read the back of the book, and I may do that with some of them, but I enjoyed hearing him tell me about the stories. So what I got from this book is that it has to do with a young boy. His parents had money. He was a little bit spoiled, is how he worded it. And he was in a plane crash and had to learn to survive on his own. He did meet, this was in the mountains, and he did meet another man that was like a mountain man. And but you know, he survived. He did get out. You know, it was rough. Just the adventure of learning to survive on your own in this circumstance. So that was that book. This is one he just got for his birthday, Shadow on the Mountain. I wasn't sure about this book. He's very interested, obviously, in World War II. This had to do with the Nazi Germans' invasion, occupation of Norway. So there was a young boy, I think he started out early on, around the age of 14, as a spy. I think it's based on a true story. He did tell me that because it tells you what happened to him afterwards, and I'll mention that. I can't give you complete details except for what he told me and what I'm reading on the back, but he really did enjoy it. Did he give me stars on this one? 4? I think he may have said the beginning was a little bit slow. That might be why. This has to do with him becoming a spy as a young kid and growing into an adult, and he had to almost fake being not smart, being ignorant. And they do use, he said, Mom, they do use the word stupid, so I'm going to tell you that as a parent, but he was trying to make himself that way so people would not even cross their mind that he could possibly be a spy. Now, I think because of some circumstances of people that went to the other side, he was found out and he did escape to Switzerland. I think that's what he said. So he really enjoyed it. He read it pretty quickly. I think it can get pretty intense in a little bit. So All right, this book he also got for his birthday, The Baker Street Mystery, The Mystery of the Yellow Hands. Okay, so I bought this for his birthday, and I can't even remember why. I seen it somewhere. It had good reviews for that age. It was not his favorite. He gave it a 3. There was just some things in there. I think some kids get kidnapped, and I don't think he liked that part of it. Now, he has seen maybe situations like that on a show or something, but you're seeing where the kids are. The mystery was that, like what happened to them. So he said he recommends this maybe for older kids. There was a lot of British slang, like the writing was, so he was trying to figure out what they were saying. So, but it is a mystery. I have a feeling it was probably somewhat good. He did give it a 3, so that's, you know, it's not a 2 or a 1 for him. And once you get past a couple of those things, I think it wasn't that bad, because he did read it. He read it pretty quickly too. All right, this one was a school book, and it's the story of Sir Walter Raleigh, and this is by Yesterday Classics. I think I just gave him this book and told him to read it because it had to do with the Spanish Armada, and I knew that there would be some ships and sailing and some battles. So, and what did he give it? He gave it a 2 because it was a school book, is what he said. But he actually remembered and gave me quite a bit of detail. So this would be around the time of Queen Elizabeth and the Spanish Armada. It ended up in the New World, and that's actually where he died. So just sharing that with you, that this was probably an easy read for him, and he read it quicker than it was scheduled, but I just gave it to him because I thought, well, he'll just read it, and that's, to me, what is important. All right, this is another book, Basher 5-2. It's the true story of a F-16 fighter pilot, Captain Scott O'Grady. And all my boys have read this book. This is the Scholastic, and I was realizing I have Return and Honor. I have another book. I've never compared them. I got this much later, probably like within the last couple years, and nobody's read that one. Let's see what he gave this. He gave this a 5. So he really, really liked this book. And I had read it before I gave it to my first son to read because I was curious, but it's very good. It teaches them a lot. It's about this pilot who is in Bosnia and gets shot down over the enemy line. And he was explaining it to me. I loved hearing him tell me what was going on. He mentioned the countries and they were disputing, and that's why there was shooting. And he parachuted and just had to hide. And it gives great detail about that. So he was a national hero at the time. This is a true story, and written from him and his experience. And he does a great job just explaining military and the different terms. That's what I enjoyed about it when I remember reading it and thinking this would be great to help my boys understand that, because they do have questions. They're curious how that works. So, all right. One of the Christian heroes, then and now, John Flynn. Let's see what he gave this one. He gave it 5 stars. I think he was up in the air 4 or 5. And I had read this book actually several years ago to them, but he would have been much younger, so he didn't remember a whole lot of it. I'm going to show you one more time. So it's Australia. He is an Australian, becomes a pastor, and he had a heart for the inland people. And when he got out there, he was realizing the need. These people are like shepherds and miners, and there was injuries going on, and there was nobody to help them. So he was able to learn some medical things and help get some hospitals started, like not even real hospitals, but just some care, get some people who wanted to minister and take medical help. And he ended up later on starting what my son said was like mother stations, and so they could, and there was communication, because this was like early before World War I that his heart and his ministry started. So once World War I was over, the opportunity to have airlift and communication through radio really opened up into Australia, but you still had to find people willing to do that. So he worked his entire life just opening all that up for people that needed to be ministered to, not only spiritually but physically. He really enjoyed this book, so I am glad. All right, a couple of these I know I have mentioned in a curriculum update, but I'm gonna go ahead and mention it in my full list of books my 6th grader has read. And this is Escape into the Night, and it is by Louise Walfred Johnson. It is the first in a series called The Freedom Seekers. Now, I think he got this for Christmas, and the reason I purchased it is because she has another series called The Viking Quest that my son, all my boys have read, and I thought, they were really good, and I wanted to check out anything else that she may have written. What did he give it? He gave it 3, and I may have talked him into a 3.5. And I will tell you, this is a good book. It is because the main character is a girl, and it is about, let me put my glasses on. So this is about Libby. Everything changes for her in 1857 when she comes to live on the Christiana, her father's steamboat. Libby's curiosity ensnares her in a mystery. What is the closely held secret of Caleb, the cabin boy? And also there is a runaway, I think. So he read through it pretty quickly. It did have boys in it, the cabin boy and the runaway. And he did like the idea of the steamboats. Like, he learned a lot through that. So I do want to mention that this is more of a historical Christian fiction. And that was one reason I picked it out. All right. Now, this was another one that I purchased for him, Brother Andrew Behind Enemy Lines. And this is from the Trailblazers. And I was really interested in him reading this story. I wanted to read this myself, and we actually have it in this form. And I just don't know if I didn't realize that because he read this and then we listened to this on Audible, this version. And he said, I think he really likes the story. Of course, this is about a true story about a young man who goes through a lot in his early life and then gives his heart and life to the Lord and carries Bibles into communist countries. So he enjoyed this one better because it gave a lot more detail. So I'm just going to let you know that. We like both the Trailblazers and the Christian Heroes Then and Now. But we did, I listened to this with him, and he read this one, and he would say, oh, they didn't mention that in the book, or they said it this way. So gonna let you know that. Okay, here's a book he just finished, Soldier Dog by Sam Angus, I think is how you say it. He did give this book a 5-star. Now, I wanna admit my mistake, and he said, he's this far into the book, telling me that there are some words in it, or a word, and it was, come to find out, it was the D word, and we just don't use that kind of language here, or even the word stupid. I just don't like to hear negativity. So I try to steer away from that, but he did say it was the drill sergeant, and because his mindset, I think, understands military and understands the dangers, and he's read so much about lives lost through World War I and II, that I just didn't, I don't know if he just knew that that's how they talk. So that was the only thing. Other than that, he absolutely loved this book. I think because there was an animal involved and a young boy who left a hard family situation. And I think that was another thing, that he wasn't crazy about the very beginning of the book. But once the young boy got into the military, and this is World War I, by the way. So I think, from what I understand, he said this is based on a true story, but it tells you in the back what really happened. There was some scenes, I think, even of how someone or one of the animals dies, that's not really how it happened. So they do explain in the back all of that. And I did look up the author. I'm not sure that we'll probably get any more books from him, but he did learn a lot from it. I know, like I said, he gave it 5 stars because he enjoyed the whole scene, talking about the dogs and the battles, and that's what he enjoys reading about. So I just wanted to be honest with you from the mom's point of view also, And I did not read this. I used to be much better about pre-reading books. And now that he's getting older, I may even have to start that again. It's been a few years because my 11th grader now is not a reader, so I didn't even like have to worry about that too much. So, all right, I'm going to mention just a couple extra that he has read, but maybe not since the beginning of the year, but he's like, oh yes, I love that book. And I know he really, really enjoyed this book. This is the Commandos of World War II. And I don't even know if he gave me stars for this, but he probably would have said 5. They're like the Navy SEALs of the British during World War II. They sneak behind the enemy lines and they sabotage things. So, but it's not one full story. It's just like different circumstances, different stories of different people. And there's pictures. So it's all like based on true stories. Another one he really enjoyed was the stories from the First and Second World War, and that's sort of the same thing. Lots of different stories from that. This is a thicker book. I think I probably bought him this for Christmas. And all right, I just wanted to share with you, I hope it was helpful just to see what another 6th grader, 11, just turned 12-year-old boy is reading. And we'd love to hear maybe if your son, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, has some favorites, let us know below. All right, I do appreciate you all watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you.